This episode is brought to you by Novilla Mattresses. When it comes to your mother, you want her sleeping in a comfortable bed. When she's with me, she won't have to worry about that because I sleep on a Novilla mattress. Let me tell you, when your mom is at my place, she is sleeping on a very comfortable mattress and she is going to get you one as well. Meet their Bliss Organic Memory Foam Mattress. Perfect for those who want a cool, dry, undisturbed sleep throughout the night, made with organic bamboo charcoal fiber, excellent motion isolation, cooling gel-infused memory foam that fits all bed frames and is reasonably priced. Perfect for if you want an inexpensive mattress for you, your children, or even for your guest room. It comes in a box delivered right to your door, and you get 100 nights to try it out. Skip that trip to the big box mattress store and get a mattress from Novilla. Throw out that cheap Walmart mattress you got in college and get yourself a mattress made by Novilla. Using promo code Schweezy or the link in our description, you can save 10% on any purchase through Novilla directly. Try out the mattress that your mom tried out last night. Again, that's 10% off using promo code Schweezy. And a reminder, when you use our links, you directly support this show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. What is up? Welcome to yet another episode of Cancel Schweezy, better known as the Lord's trademark favorite podcast. What is going on? I'm Schweezy, or better known as the Foreplay King, here bringing you another amazing podcast. A podcast like a podcast like you've never listened to or watched before. We're bringing you that new shit, that cool shit, that hot stuff. What someone would say,
cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff.
We're bringing that to you today on episode 101. 101. We are now in the triple digit era of Cancel Schweezy. We're in the triple, which is gonna be like a few years. If we do 1 week with some weeks off, it'll definitely, we're going to be in the triple digit era. We were in the single digit era. We were there. And then we made it to the double digit era. And now we're in the triple digit era of Cancel Schweezy. Which is like, it's pretty cool to think that we've gone 100 years. I've been doing this for 2 years, which seems like, it definitely does feel like yesterday. I just started doing this show. Just like I just had an idea. I was doing an interview show, and it was hard to maintain consistency with that. And I was like, I'll just do a weekly show where I just say stupid shit. And next thing you know, we're at episode 101, which is like the class, like Cancel Schweezy 101. How to know where pee is stored, and it's in the balls, because pee is stored in the balls. That's why it's called the penis. Anyways, though. Welcome to Cancel Schweezy, folks. The only podcast that saw that sweater Amy Schumer wore on Saturday Night Live when she introduced Steve Lacy to play Bad Habit. She wore a sweater that said vote. And this is the only podcast that saw that shirt and went out and voted. I've been trying to think of a good joke. There's like every celebrity's like, go vote, and they'll give you statistics on why you should vote and shit like that. And, like, there is some dumb fuck out there. It's like, well, this person that I worship, that I don't know, went out and voted, wants me to vote, so I'm going to go do that. I voted in Missouri this midterm election, and everything I voted for, every topic I voted for was the opposite, minus the legalization of weed. Which is going to be very fun. Soon, we're gonna try balls to the wall. How high am I going to be? Episode once I can buy weed at dispensaries. I think that once we get there, it's gonna be nothing but a good time. How can I resist? So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Announcements time. November 23rd, I believe that is a week from when this episode is airing. I am playing at Rose Music Hall with Jacob Gapsch in Columbia, Missouri, for their Wild Turkey Wednesday. It's the day before Thanksgiving. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun fucking show. One, I'm going to be there. Two, Jacob's going to be there, and Jacob's a lot of fun to hang out with. And some other guys that they're also in the band. I don't know. I'm trying to convince everyone to let me and Jacob switch spots because I'm playing bass and he's the main singer. And I'm like, I think if we switch spots, it'd be cool. But I don't know. We'll see there. So you're going to have to fucking go down there. If you're near Columbia at the time, you better go to that fucking show. It's going to be a lot of fucking fun. And it's a good venue and shit like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Wild Turkey Wednesday, November 23rd, I believe. We start playing at 8, I believe. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely go check that out. 8 p.m., November 23rd. It's a great way to avoid your families for a little bit or get drunk with your family because that's more fun, getting drunk with your family, unless your family isn't that fun to drink with. So in that case...
That's rough, buddy.
So... Another thing. My cover of Last Christmas was originally performed by Wham / George Michael. Part of Never Nude Records, Grandma Got Run Over by a Tour Van, is out now, available now wherever you stream your music. It was a day late on Spotify, but it's up now. It's a lot of fun. This is probably like the first time I've in any release though, like the distribution side was a headache. But that's over now. It's out. It's on there. It's not going anywhere. So definitely go check that out. I know y'all are making your Christmas playlist. You put on some Christmas music. I think Grandma Got Run Over by a Tour Band is going to be a fun album to just pull out, over on your favorite streaming service, and then just playing that for your party. It's just a fun pop punk Christmas. I did Last Christmas by Wham. I think I'll try playing at the end of the episode. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike, but it's weird if it's a copyright strike because it's my song. Well, I mean, it's my recording, so that'd be very weird. I'm gonna see here. I'll play at the end of the episode, but yeah, definitely go check that out. It's available now, out now, everywhere you get to music. So don't be stingy.
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
Make sure you go check that out. I got other music over on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, D's Nuts. Got him.
What'd you say? You did fucked up?
So definitely go check us out over there as well. Music, it's under Schweezy. Everywhere you listen to music, I got music. 2023, I'm planning some releases. So definitely go check that out. Make sure you're following there and over on my social medias at TheSchweezy. Guess where I usually post all my announcements over there, like when I release music, especially on Instagram and Facebook, are going to be the two that I mainly do post a lot about. So definitely go check that out. Don't miss out on anything like that. Twitch.tv/TheSchweezy. You can also go and watch me stream video games. I usually stream on Thursdays around 8 p.m. Central Time. But I'm waiting for the new Pokemon game to come out. I'm really excited for that game to drop. I'm going to be playing Pokemon Violet, and so it's going to be really cool. I don't know. I'm going to figure out the streaming schedule because I need to, because I'm going to be basically out of town all next week, and so I have to figure out the podcast, get all that done, and I'm going to stream a little bit of that too. So Thanksgiving's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a long, but I think it's going to be a fun week. I generally want to think it's a fun week. So definitely that's going to be a lot of fun. So go check that out. If you have an Amazon Prime account, connect it to your Twitch account. You basically get a Twitch Prime. Following anyone over on Twitch is free. However, though, getting a subscribe usually costs around $5 a month. But with an Amazon Prime subscription, you basically get one free subscribe. That's a $5 deal. $5 you're taking away from Jeff Bezos. So if you take it away from Jeff Bezos, he doesn't need any more money. If you don't use it, he gets to keep that $5. You don't want that fucking guy getting $5. So definitely go check that out.
I like that.
But let's forget all the free shit you can do. Definitely, if you're an audio listener of the show, I know some of you drive and shit like that. So make sure you still go and check out the Cancel Schweezy YouTube page as well. We are really trying to build up an audience over there. Like always, that's the place because it's two different audiences: the audio audience and the YouTube audience. We're trying to. I'd love to combine the two for the most part, So definitely go check that out. I post highlights of everything we talk about, and definitely little clips. That way you don't have to tell people to go to the audio section, go to like a specific Pacific marker and then we start there, and you can end here. It's just easy. Pull up. Just go on YouTube, press play. It's easy peasy. Some of you check it out on your TVs as well. I have an Apple TV, and I generally do if I'm going to be in my Apple TV. My little living room setup, I usually always pull up a podcast from there and just like have it play. And it's nice having it on YouTube, so you can see my face too in our cool background. This week we're back to the brick this week, so that's exciting. We're brick background, and then, but also we're gonna move to Christmas Schweezy too. The show's transforming into Christmas Schweezy, so that's gonna be really exciting too. So you're definitely gonna want to hang around for that. But anyways, though, obviously other free shit you can do. Make sure you subscribe everywhere, like the show, and if you're on the audio platforms, leave us a review and a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 star rating.
And I really like that.
So let's get into the news. This is previous week right now, folks. Previous week right now is the news that I'm going over right now. It's just plain simple. It's just the news. It's previous week right now. That's what we call it. Call it over here on Cancel Schweezy. So you're definitely going to want to go be excited for us to go over the news. But I'll quit just yammering on about nothing. And, as Philip Franco would say,
let's just jump into it.
All right, this is from Consequent Sound. Matty Healy munches on raw meat on stage at the 1975's New York show.
What?
Preparations for a coast-to-coast arena tour requires lots of exercise, thoughtful self-care, and well-balanced diet. Matty Healy put the latter habit into effect on stage during the 1975's Monday night stop in New York City, whipping out what appears to be a hunk of raw red meat, deliberately taking a bite of it. The feast went down in between songs at Madison Square Garden while a shirtless Healy was the only band member on stage. A man in a white coat presented the front man with the plate bearing the steak, and then Healy did, as Healy does, something inexplicably weird. Knowing what we know about the 1975's artistic tendencies, we're sure there's some deeper message in modern technology and consumerism hidden in the peculiar fare. That doesn't mean we can understand it, though. Does anyone cut into the meat just to make sure it was actually cake? It wasn't actually. Who's fucking writing these jokes? After eating about 3 sizable bites of meat, Healy turned towards a stack of television playing news clips and other concerning images and began doing push-ups. Eventually, he crawled into one of the televisions and returned in a new outfit to begin the second half of the set. Considering the meat moment arrived before the push-ups and after he had sat on a couch with his hand on his crotch, it seemed to be a commentary on masculinity. Something Healy has explored a great deal as of late. Sorry if you brought your dad to the show and I was touching my dick. That's your fault for bringing your dad's. And Healy during the show. That is good. The North American leg on the 1975 at their very best tour kicked off last week and continues through mid-December. Grab tickets in the remaining show over Ticketmaster. The gigs are in support of the band's new album, Being Funny in a Foreign Language. So that's some funny shit. I would definitely. It definitely does sound like it was a more artistic endeavor on Maddie's part. I fucking love the 1975 new album though. I usually do my the last episode of the year. I always go into my favorite music of the year. Being Funny in a Foreign Language, I liked it. But I don't know. It's not gonna be number one. I actually think I figured out what my number one album is this year, and think it's very surprising. Last year was Dayglow's Harmony House. Second was Bo Burnham's Inside. So anything goes here. I make a list on my phone. I write down all the albums I liked. You're going to see there. So yeah, it is very cool. They're very artistic of a band, and that's what I really like about them, because they do have that because I think when they released their first album, I think it was just self-titled. The 1975 it was black, and so people tried to put them in a box. And so the next album, they named the album "You Are So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It." It's like the longest fucking title ever. What's the actual title? What was it? 1975. You're so. I'm just gonna type that in. It's the full name. Oh no, it's the full album title, and it's called "I Like It When You Sleep, for You're So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It." And that was a joke because they're like, because it's generally speaking that you don't want album titles and even band names for the most part. I was always told, and especially in podcasts, it's just like anything artistic, you definitely want a shorter band name, shorter names for it, because I don't know, it just sticks out. 2 syllables even works better. That's why I think artist names. I think that's one reason I switched to Schweezy as my artist name. And I think Halsey, like, that works really well. 1975, that's pretty short too. Love, that's a great name. And then you hear, like, longer band names don't necessarily work out. I don't know. I think it's just something in our minds that are just like, long band names are just kind of weird, So I think that is, and most people like go by, like, if they're a solo artist, they just go by their first and last name or one name, and shit like that. So I think, and so like the 1975 was just making fun of that shit when they released that album. So yeah, they're always doing something artistic, and I do find it very interesting, and I like the new album. So if you haven't checked that out and you want to listen to something cool, Being Funny in Foreign Language is out now. Apparently, I'm promoting other people's shit now. So that's cool. That's cool. Listen to music, folks. That's the lesson of today's episode. Just listen to fucking music, okay? Listen to your own goddamn fucking music, and you can figure it out from there. Anyways, I need a drink. You're just feeling good all the time, folks. Busch Light. Stole from a wedding. Ooh. Well, that was fun.
What?
All right. Well, next one looks like this is from CNBC. Twitter pauses paid verification after users abuse service to impersonate brands and people.
That's rough, buddy.
Twitter appears to have paused its $7.99 Blue subscription service, which allowed people to pay for a verification checkmark after users were abusing it to impersonate brands and famous people. Twitter's launched the service earlier this week in its iPhone app, allowing users to buy a checkmark that had previously been used to show that an account was verified or official. As of Friday, the iPhone app no longer shows an option to sign up for Twitter Blue. The quick suspension of the service suggests that, at least currently, CEO Elon Musk's big plan to generate new revenue from users isn't working as expected. The paid subscription service led to a plethora of pranksters creating imposter accounts on Twitter. It left the platform even more ripe for misinformation, and many cheaply acquired checkmarks were used to impersonate brands, politicians, and celebrities with unflattering messages. One current sale employee at Twitter said the company decided to pull back on Twitter Blue verifications in response to the spate of impersonators. In response to the spate of I guess that's more okay. The employee who asked to remain unnamed since they were not authorized to speak on behalf of Twitter said one account resembling pharmaceutical giant Eli Lilly caused a serious problem when it tweeted out, "We are excited to announce insulin is free now." An impersonator also pilloried. Quit making Josh fucking Casey write this. Tesla, Elon Musk electric car maker, using the pay subscriber blue checkmark, an account with the handle that appeared as @TeslaReal, wrote a flurry of disparaging tweets, one of which said, "Honestly, the 53% drop in stock price doesn't faze us. If there's anyone who knows about crashing, it's us." The effect of so many changes on Twitter platform presents a big problem for advertisers, some of which have already paused spending there. Additionally, some users who already paid for the services said their recent acquired blue checkmarks have disappeared from their accounts. A Twitter spokesperson was not immediately available for comment. Musk was not immediately available for comment. The rollback of Twitter Blue verified comes at a time when Musk and Alex Spiro, who is acting as Twitter's top lawyer now, are working to reassure employees, advertisers, and regulators that they will comply with all laws in terms of the prior FTC consent decree. This is just like the funny, like, just, can we just talk about how great the internet can be sometimes? First of all, like, let's just talk about how good the internet is. Eli Lilly, let's talk about that. They're producer or pharmaceutical giant. I think I'm just going to say that because I don't know what they actually do. They produce insulin, and insulin, like, the whole thing, like, the guy who invented insulin or whatever, like, didn't he sell the patent for like $10 or just give it away because he wanted to use it to help save lives? Like, that was his entire purpose. Like, he wanted to use insulin to save lives, you know? And then, you know, companies like Eli Lilly, isn't it like 1,500%? Don't fact check me on that, but it's like over 1,000% markup on insulin, which I think insulin to produce is $10. Now, I understand, like, they need to make a profit there. Even Mark Cuban, he started his own his pharmacy, and it's like no insurance. We just don't want to deal with that. I think we mark it up just a specific percent from manufacturing costs, and you think like, why don't they just do it at the cost? I'm like, well, some people, it's good to have people have jobs too, and I don't think, but like the markup that Eli Lilly does is atrocious. Like for what they do, it's just atrocious. Like you get it like hundreds of dollars to buy insulin. Like you need that to survive. Some people need that to survive. And these greedy fucking bitches, like, you can talk about how like, well, healthcare shouldn't be free. You shouldn't have to pay. Our taxes should go to military spending. You can talk about it all day, but like, there's no reason why life-saving drugs in like the pharmaceutical industry can't be taken down. Like, for real. It's like I somehow get insurance and like I can get my meds for free, but if I don't have insurance, they're like $100 or something like that. It's just, if for some reason it's $100, I'm like, there's no way no one's paying $100 for that. I can't imagine. That's how I view the real world and stuff like that, because you can get like those good RX cards and they like drop it down to like $30. Like, oh, this was like $200 for your medication. Oh, you have a good RX card? I don't even know what they're doing. I mean, like, they're a good company. Not gonna lie. They're a good company. Like, very good. They want to save people money on life-saving, medications that they need. But, like, I don't know how the fact that, like, I just show a pharmacy that, and they're like, okay, let me type this in. All right, now you only have to pay $30. I'm like, why can't we just have it at $30 to begin with? That makes no sense. Anyways, I digress. That's something I'm very passionate about, the healthcare stuff. Because people are just dumb about it. Well, we're supposed to pay for the taxes we pay. People are like, we need to worry about our spending. Like, we're not going broke. Like, we're in debt to China. We're not paying that shit back. I don't know. Like, China, they just gave it to us. There's a rule with, like, don't lend people money if you need that money back. It's like the situation, It's like, only lend people money when, like, you would, you definitely prefer they pay you back, but like it's not gonna hurt you to lend that money. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, though, just off these fucking pranksters over at Twitter making me laugh a lot. My favorite one. Like someone made a fake Nintendo account, and they're like, in the new Pokemon game, you can fuck the Pokemon. We're like, finally, that's what people. There's some people. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know Lopunny and Gardevoir are supposed to be the attractive Pokemon. I'm just not into it. I'm just not into. I cannot find Pokemon attractive. Now, like the characters in Pokemon, when I was a kid, now I'm too old. Cynthia is like 29. She's my age, and therefore, that's okay. If you look like Cynthia from Pokemon Platinum, DMs are open. Just letting you know. Anyways, though, I wish I would have kept this up. It was a fun week. And if you're still on Twitter, stop. That place is just, it's a cesspool over there on Twitter. The fact Elon Musk bought it makes it even more of a cesspool now, if you know what I mean. He's like, I'm a conservative because people don't like that I'm rich. I'm like, and you're like, I don't even know how smart Elon Musk actually is, to be honest with you. He doesn't seem like, I don't know. Never mind. I'm gonna go. We're gonna move on. Okay, we're gonna move on.
What?
All right. Some news from our friends over at CTV. Nickelback to be inducted into Canadian Music Hall of Fame. Nickelback is getting a spot in the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. The rock hitmakers from Hannah Alta, have been named as the latest inductees into the illustrious comb of Canada's top music talent. Lead singer Chad Kroeger and his bandmates Mike Kroeger, Ryan Peake, and Daniel Adair will be ushered into the Hall of Fame at the Juno Awards in Edmonton next year on March 13th. Say it right, buddy. The 12-time Juno winners, whose hit singles include How You Remind Me and Rockstar, will also be on the live Juno's broadcast. The band's induction announcement was part of a media event Monday in Edmonton, where organizers of Calgary native Tate McRae would be among this year's performers. They also confirmed the return of several Juno Week events that were paused during the pandemic. The Juno Cup, a Canadian celebrity hockey showdown, the Juno Songwriter Circle, and Juno Fan Fair, an event where fans can meet the musicians, are back on the calendar in the weeks leading up to the big show. Canadian music manager Ron Sakamoto will be recipient of the Walt Grealis Special Achievement Award for his longtime contribution to the country's music industry. Okay. The Walt Grealis Special Achievement Award. Okay. Is that a big deal? I don't know. I know the Junos are like Canada's big award show. Not like the CMAs, my favorite Wednesday award show. Why is it on a Wednesday? Can we get some information on that? It's just a random Wednesday. Time for the CMAs. Let's ruin Nashville traffic for the day. Man, some big people show up this year. So that's cool. And I agree. Nickelback is not that bad. See, the problem is you can't say a band is bad. Trapped is a generally bad band. They can play their instruments and sing fine, but song-wise, the songs they have. Let's talk about it. They have Headstrong, which is the only good song they have. And even then, it's a little white boy, like a white boy angry song, you know? It's like white boys getting angry. It's that type of song. And then also Trapped had the nerve to release a greatest hits album. Really, you were like, we need to release this, the greatest hits album. And nowadays you're like, why would you make a greatest hits album? You can just buy all the songs, individually, worst case scenario. Now remember, when you buy vinyl records, it's actually nice when you have the greatest hits, because then you have to buy an album for one song, you buy that, and you have all the good songs they've ever made. So that's really cool. And honestly, the fact that they haven't made it into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame is a surprise to me, because I would assume, you think of Nickelback as a Canadian band. To me, they're just Canadian as it can be. It is weird. Are they Canadian or are they from the South? South of the United States? Because I could say yeah, they're from Georgia, and people would be like, oh no shit, oh that's really cool. But I also think of Nickelback more as Canadian, because everyone's like, Canada sucks because they gave us Nickelback and Justin Bieber. I'm like, shut the fuck up. But see, Nickelback has a ton of great songs, and so you can't say Nickelback is bad because they actually have a lot of songs. I say a band has to be bad, first of all, if they have no good songs. That's a good fact, saying that this band sucks. Even Trapped has one okay song. But so yeah, people were like, look at this joke, can't believe they're doing it. I'm surprised they haven't made the US one in Ohio. Ohio. What do you think about Ohio? They have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You're so is rock a significant thing in Ohio? Nope. It's just, that's where it is. Does Ohio have a lot of music history? Nope. It's like Nashville had music history in there. The Country Music Hall of Fame, the Country Music Hall of Fame Museum, which honestly, I would say if you're going to Nashville and you like history and music, even if you don't like country music, it's actually a very good, it was a very good time for me. I enjoyed it. Some Garth stuff there, that guy's murdered people.
And I really like that.
Yeah, good for Nickelback. I think and as long as Ted Nugent doesn't get anywhere, I feel like as long as Ted Nugent doesn't get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I will let anyone into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, to be honest. They let rappers in before they let Ted Nugent. I'm like, yeah, there's a reason for that, because Ted Nugent kind of sucks. And I'm not just talking politics here. You can shut the fuck up there. We're not talking politics. His actual music does suck. His song Cat Scratch Fever is the song. That song sucks. They're all about grooming women and shit like that. So anyways, though, Nickelback's not that bad. The Junos could be bad. I don't know what the hell. I know it's an award show, and apparently it's a big deal in Canada. But, isn't it the Brit Award, too? That's a big deal in the UK, but here you're like, oh, okay. Life's what you make it, so let's make it rock. From the great Hannah Montana once said that, and that's how we'll live. Okay, our last article for previous week right now,
Let's just jump into it.
some good news. I always like to end on the good news from CBS News. Tennessee voters officially ban all forms of slavery in the state. Tennessee has officially banned all forms of slavery. Voters on Tuesday approved a ballot measure that removes language allowing slavery and involuntary servitude as form of punishment for those convicted of crimes. The measure passed was 79.54% of the votes, according to Secretary of State's office. The measure amends Article 1, Section 33 of the Tennessee Constitution, which states that slavery and involuntary servitude are forever prohibited in this state, except as punishment for a person who has been duly convicted of a crime. The new amendment removes the language allowing for these punishments. The section will now read, slavery and involuntary servitude are forever prohibited. Nothing in this section shall prohibit an inmate from working when the inmate has been duly convicted of a crime. Before it was sent to voters in the state, a majority of Tennessee lawmakers supported the proposal, but 6 legislators voted against it. I'm a non-lawyer. I'm a non-lawyer, and most of my voters are non-lawyers, and I can't explain this amendment in words they understand, Republican State Senator Frank Nicely said during a 2021 meeting of the Tennessee General Assembly. The Constitution is too sacred, is too scared to clutter up with a lot of non-lawyers can't explain to other non-lawyers. So I guess I'll be voting on no on this one. The measure was one of 4 on the ballot in the state this election day. The 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution abolished slavery in 1865, but includes similar language allowing for involuntary servitude to be imposed as punishment for crime. State Senator Ramush Akbari said in an interview with Fox Nashville last year that the amendment to the state's constitution will close that loophole. A bipartisan group of legislators supported the Vote Yes on 3 campaign, which urged voters to adopt the ballot measure. Words matter, and in the Constitution there is still a resemblance of slavery left over. Democrat State Rep Joe Towns said in a bipartisan campaign ad with Republican Rep Jeremy Faison, it's important that we do always with all thought of slavery in our Constitution, Faison said. So that's great, Tennessee. I'm glad we do that. You'd be surprised. Like, there's some fucking crazy racists in the South. Tennessee is not excluded. That's why it's nice staying in cities in Tennessee, because the rest of the state can be kind of, I don't know, like Gatlinburg's cool, Pigeon Forge is cool, Dollywood. It just looks scary up close, but it looks fun from far away, just like the real Dolly. Yeah, I think that's great. You know, I'm glad slavery is no longer a thing in Tennessee, folks. And even that, like, even like the 13th Amendment, you know, like even that one line of like, you know, the whole, like, you know, unless you're like in jail or whatever, like that's a pretty rough thing, because that's how they've been getting away with that shit for a while, and it's not cool. It's not cool at all. Have you ever been out in public and thought, hey, look at that fat guy, only for it to turn out to be a mirror and you are in fact the fat guy? That was the moment that kickstarted me into becoming the greatest health expert the world has ever seen. But I wasn't born being built different. Like Joe Cocker before me, I get by with a little help from my friends. And my friends happen to be today's sponsor, FNX Fitness. FNX Fitness is committed to creating innovative supplements of the highest quality that provide focus for a productive morning, energy to thrive all day, performance supplements to reach new goals, unique sleep and recovery formulas to support any sport, and healthy supplements to support an active lifestyle for years to come. I also really enjoy their clothing line that makes you look good while you work out as well. Another thing I love about FNX Fitness is that with every purchase, they donate a gallon of water to a child in need. Start working out smarter, not harder, by using the link in our description today. You can save 15% on your purchase. Go save 15% on some of the best supplements out there when using the link in our description. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. When you're at the beach, you aren't going there naked, letting everyone see your little shrunken PP from being in the water. No, you're wearing some sort of clothing to cover up your privates. So why would you let companies you buy products from have access to the privates of your credit cards? That's where today's sponsor, Privacy, becomes the clothing for your credit card information. Privacy is the first payment product that keeps your personal information private while being even more convenient than using a physical payment card online. Privacy empowers you to protect your physical card information. each merchant you share your card information with puts you more at risk to hackers or data breaches. Why not use a privacy card instead? By creating a virtual card with privacy for each merchant you shop with, your physical card is safe and secure. Privacy cards can be paused or closed at any time, preventing any future transactions from being authorized. Privacy cards can also be single-use, meaning they close after just one authorized transaction. One of my favorite ways to use privacy is for a service with a free trial that requires you to put in a credit card to sign up. But wait, there's more. By using the link in our description, you can get $5 to spend anywhere. That's money you get to use. So start paying the smart way with privacy. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show.
Oh no! Our table!
It's time to get serious for a second, folks. It's time for a serious talk. A talk I didn't think I was going to have with you. I failed No Nut November, folks.
That's rough, buddy.
I failed it. I was getting kind of backed up. I just really needed to let one out, folks. I'm just gonna be honest with all of you. Really needed to get one out, and yeah, that's my main reasoning behind it. I just wanted to point that out. My main reason for failing it was not because I needed porn, or like I'm addicted to porn. You know, that wasn't the problem. Like, you know, I was, you know, if you go on TikTok, it's like girls just trying to do thirst traps all day. Is this how I get famous? Thirst traps? I'm like, yeah, you're okay looking, you know, and shit like that. Just go back to your OnlyFans. There's like 3 guys over there who want to look or curious. But no, I was just getting really bad. That's the real problem, honestly. Is you get really backed up, and it's really can get really bad. When you're a man, I think biologically we're just supposed to nut, you know. It's just what we do.
I like that.
And so, you know, it's just something we have to do. And so it's fun to, like, I really do have to explain that to women. It's very surprising women don't really understand that, because women are like, yeah, I could go a couple years without sex, I'll be fine, you know. But like guys are like, I need to nut like every couple days, or else it gets pretty bad. And, you know, and like people are, and, you know, I grew up in church, so it was like, masturbation's bad, don't do it, it's bad, okay? You know, I get, one, like the Bible, let's be honest with you, the Bible only really talks about, like, lusting after another man's woman. Like, that's really all it's saying. It doesn't really say anything else besides that. So, just being honest there. But they're like, masturbation's bad because you're lusting after another man's woman. I'm like, I don't know, I don't consider women property, so I guess let's just bygones be bygones, or whatever the fuck Jesus said. Yeah, no, but like, porn can be a problem though. Like, if anything, I really think if you want to do No Nut November correctly, I really do think you should go the full month of November not looking at porn. Still jack off. Like, jacking off. Because really, you really do need to, like, there's, you know, you really do need to bust nuts a lot, you know. I'm busting nuts, and it's like, just not inside women. I know it's more fun, but it's like, you can't be doing that. So, and then, you know, you gotta fail No Nut November. So I failed November, and guess what? I'm gonna tell you what happened. After I did it, I felt great. You know, apparently some people feel shame after they jerk off. I don't. I fucking feel great. It feels nice. It's just like fucking. It's like just some. It's just like tension release. You know, I'm a big fan of that. You know, I love chiropractor videos. I love it when like a big pimple gets out, because I know it's like so much pressure on your skin. Then you release it, and you're like, your body just feels better. Like, I just love that tension release shit. You know, getting a big ass booger out of your nose. Like, oh god. That is the best. That is the best fucking shit out there. And, yeah, I like that. But yeah, also, though, you know, I'm not saying, like, yeah, we all need to get, fellas, you need to bust nuts more. But there's also, like, there is also a limit. You should probably do it to busting nuts, you know. I would say, for the most part, maybe try to go every other day. It's probably pretty good. You definitely shouldn't be. You need to, if you're doing it more than once a day, COVID doesn't count. If you're jerking off more than once a day during COVID, it's a different life. It's a different thing. That was a different time. But like your normal every day-to-day life, you need to be once a day. After that, like you're bored. You need to be more productive with your life. I'm just saying.
What?
I hit both of them. I'm just saying that is a good life hack. Like you can only jerk off so many times, and like you shouldn't be. You're like, I'll jerk off like 5 times a day. When I get off my antidepressants, I can't do that. Now I'm on the antidepressants. I'm like, I can maybe get 2, unless by myself. Like if I'm with a woman, I can probably recharge pretty fast. Or not, or I just won't bust nut at all. You know, sometimes it'd be like that. You can put some alcohol and you put that in your system. Anyways, though, this is the dumbest fucking rant I've ever been on. Anyways, fellas, a better challenge. I do think a better challenge for No Nut November would be that we just stop looking at porn for a month. Like you can still jack off, just no porn, and then and it is a good challenge because some guys are like, I can't get off without porn. I'm like, you see, there's a problem there, or something like that. And there's some guys who are like, I just have a hard time getting up with women because it's just porn. I'm like, yeah, that's a problem. Probably jerking off too much. So is there an actual good solution to this? No, but we should all have things to do and not be bored. So that way we don't just spend all our time jerking off. That's a good moral. That's a good moral to life in general. To be who we need to be and make our society better. So drink to that. Let's take I got a Busch Light here. Yeah, apparently everyone saw me at that wedding stealing a box of, like, just a ton of beer. And I have no fucking shame. People were like, do you feel bad about that? No. I feel worse about the gift sign because it was someone else's, not them. They're like, they paid $60 for that gift sign. The gift sign I stole, I gave it back to them. I honestly, I was like in my mind, I'm keeping that shit. When I had alcohol in my system, but then I sobered. I'm like, I just need to talk about it on the podcast, and then I don't need it anymore. I have no need, so I told him I'll give it back to you. Like, I just said I'll give it back. It is what it is, but here's the fucking feeling good all the time. I like that burp, the burp cast. That's what this fucking show's coming. Oh, shit, dude. Okay. Show called Our Doctor on Netflix. It's a documentary. I think it's a couple episodes, or no, I think it's one whole fucking shit, dude. So let me read. This is from Wikipedia. This is the Wikipedia bio for it. And you're like, how am I going to describe it? I'll just read the fucking Wikipedia. I'm like, I don't give a shit. That's the problem with beer, though. I just burp a lot. So basically the Wikipedia bio. Our Father is an American Netflix original documentary film directed by Lucy Jordan and produced by Michael Petrella and Jason Blum. Its story follows former Indianapolis-based fertility doctor Donald Klein, who, in a case of fertility fraud, used his own sperm to impregnate dozens of unsuspecting patients. The film was released on May 11, 2022. The film was watched for 42.60 million hours between May 8th and May 29th, 2022 globally. So I heard about this, and so... I think it was on Bad Friends I listened to. They were talking about, Andrew Santino was talking about it. And then, so I Googled it. Because I'm like, this shit interests me. And so, I Googled it. And the only thing I found, I just Googled fertility doctor who used his own sperm. That's what I used. And then I found, it was a Fubo documentary. And look, nothing against Fubo, but there's a lot of mental strength you have to go to the Fubo app. A lot of shit. A lot of shit has to go through your brain and be like, and I'm already paying for too many streaming services when I just lay around all day looking at TikToks, what am I doing with my life? Why am I paying for streaming services when I sit on TikTok all day? Life is full of mysteries, Fucking like an episode of Friends here. Just fucking hitting the laugh track. So that's what I Googled, and so when I saw the documentary on Netflix, I'm like, oh, this must be new. And then I saw it was like May 8th. That's when it came out. Okay, so I guess Andrew Santino was talking about it recently, and so that like fucking was a trip for me to find out. So you hear this. So to sum up the bio I just said, this fertility doctor, instead of using a sperm donor, which would be what you do in that job, or like there's different situations. So there's one where it's always a husband and wife or two partners. They weren't gay. It's Indiana. Well, just being honest with you, it's in Indiana. I'm just saying, I know there's gay people in Indiana, but I'm just saying that that's not the place you want to live if you're gay. That's just a lie. That's just a life. So there were always men and women, I'm assuming, and most of them were married. So sometimes the man, he has a low sperm count, so therefore he can't get her pregnant, so they get a sperm donor. Sometimes, just for science reasons, both of the egg count's good, the sperm count's good. Just somehow when they pump it into each other, it's just no eggs are getting fertilized, and so that's where you go to a fertility doctor, and then he would use like his sperm and like scientifically, or like a doctor would, get the sperm to fertilize an egg properly. It's just like more. Sometimes I don't know. And to be honest with you, you'd be like, "Do you know how a vagina works?" And I'm like, "Yes, kind of." But like, I don't know how to, whole fucking getting women pregnant. I've never done that because I'm fucking responsible. So that's it. So I bet you're guessing. How many kids did this end up guy having? He has some kids of his own. I think he had like 3 kids of his own. If I'm not mistaken, he could have others. Like, obviously don't use this as like a factual story. Imagine someone fucking writing a fucking document, like fucking writing term papers and then fucking using me as a source. Like, could you fucking believe that shit? So not including the kids the kids he had with his wife. This dude ended up basically has 94 children. 94. And it was funny. And this part made me laugh my fucking ass off. Because this all started, basically, like, it all started with a couple people. They were doing, like, a 23andMe DNA test, stuff like that. And, like, some of these kids knew, like, hey, we use a sperm donor. They're like, okay, I'm interested because, like, if you... Not the fact that, like, like, you could be an adopted kid and, but it's, like, good because I think 23andMe does, like, a lot of health stats, like, if your family has a history of, like, some cancer or some other problems, which, let's be honest, Donald Klein had some health problems that he shouldn't have been passing down to a lot of people. Just to be honest with you. But, like, that's what 23andMe, so, like, these people were, like, going on 23andMe. And, when you go on 23andMe, you're not expecting to find a ton of people who are technically your siblings. And so, like, they had to do this research, and, like, they all found, like, one mutual source or whatever, and, like, they gave all the last names of people in the family, and they found, like, Dr. Donald Klein's, like, wife's maiden name. It was like, oh, what about Klein? He's like, oh, yeah, she married this guy named Donald Klein. And then, like, they all, like, consider him, like, I think this guy's our biological father. And so it started like it was like under 10 or something like that. And so they confronted Donald Klein and he was like, there's definitely not any more than 10. And then they go like, go to the fucking documentary. They're like, child number 12 or something like that. I'm just laughing. Then they like confront him again. They all have a meeting and he's like Donald Klein's trying to get like scientific data off of it, like as if this is like an experiment for him.
What?
He's like, well, there's definitely not more than 15. And it's like child number 20. I'm just like, Jesus, dude. He's like, well, I did this for 30 years. Like, he did this for 30 years and I did it sparingly. I'm like, so like, this dude ain't even Mormon. Like, I watched the Mormon documentary. He's like, Speak Sweet or something like that. I can't remember what it was called. I'm not going to talk about it on the show. Talk too much about Mormons on this show. But like, he's just like, I definitely don't have any more than 15. Child number 20. And so like, all these people are like, some person, like their parents just went to a random fucking fertility clinic in Indiana. And they're like, I'm gonna do 23andMe. Just, I'm white. I want to see where my white ancestors came from. I don't see a lot of black people doing those. We're like, what tribe in Africa did I come from? There's a lot of messed up history there, folks. Don't. I'm not just, no, there's a lot of fucked up shit going on there. And so, like, you go on, 23andMe, yeah. They use like a saliva sample, right? They're not fucking they're not asking for jizz samples. Why the first thing came to mind is like jizz samples? No, they like swab your mouth or whatever, right? I think that's what they do. And they get everything back, and then like these people are finding out like he has a total of 94 children, so like more and more keep popping up, and so you're like, like usually when you do a 23andMe, you're not going in there, you're like, I have 93 siblings, and then you get a message from this chick who'd be like, yep, your mom went to a fertility doctor who used his own sperm. So your biological dad, well, the guy you thought was your biological dad, is not your biological dad. And for a second though, I'm like, women don't get this because the baby pops out of them. But like I think we had a question a couple weeks ago, a very long time ago on TheSchweezy, that was like a woman's like, when a man finds out the baby isn't his, why does he leave? And it's like, doesn't he care for the kid? I'm like, well, I mean, like, he feels duped and betrayed, and there's shit, like, all that shit, like, I can't, like, it's for the kids, I mean, it's rough. Obviously, you find out your fucking biological father's a monster. Then it was like, these guys are just like, man, I love that kid. It's not mine. Like, you love that kid. And shit like that. So it's some fucking, there's a lot of sad shit. I did ask my mom, be like, hey mom, you didn't go to a fertility clinic from in Indianapolis, did you? And she said no. I'm like, good. So I'm related to my dead dad. I won't take a drink if you know what's up. But anyways though, okay, so they kind of went over this, but they didn't. Before I end it and move on to our next thing, but like, he always quoted verses that made him like part of this like Christian cult, which I mean, Christianity is kind of a cult already, but it's called like Quiverful. It's like, so here's what Wikipedia says about that. Quiverful is a Christian theological position that sees large families as a blessing from God. It encourages procreation, abstaining from all forms of birth control, as well as natural family planning and sterilization. Some sources have referred to the Quiverful position as providentialism, while other sources have simply referred to it as manifestation of natalism. It is most widespread in the United States, but it is also has adherents in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom, along with other places. One 2006 estimate put the number of families which subscribe to the philosophy is ranging from the thousands to the low tens of thousands. But like, let's see, and like this dude had Bible verses all over his office and shit like that. That's a red. I'm telling you right now, even if you believe in God and and you follow the Christian shit, I'm just saying though, don't go to medical professionals, because I went to a Christian therapist for my mental health, and it probably set me back a couple more years than I needed to be in my whole mental health thing. And it's okay if your like doctor believes in that, but they should have a clear separation between the two. And this dude had that shit in his office. Don't go to a doctor if they're like, I'm super Christian. I'm like, yeah, I'm super Christian, Oh, so it looks like you're pregnant with the baby. And it's like, God brings miracles to all of us. I'm like, okay, I'm getting a new doctor right fucking now, because that is a red flag. A doctor who is very open about his religious beliefs during doctor time is a red flag. But this dude, kind of like Aryan, I put Aryan Union, is that the right thing? The Aryan race or whatever, like that buffoon Hitler, He wanted the fucking Aryan, like he wanted all the people to be white and shit like that. So there's like white, it's like white nationalism shit in there. That's ugh, dude. And this dude, Ed Asner. I think this dude's worse than the Ed Asner guy. He looks worse than him. So, anyways, though, my best advice: don't go to Christian doctors. That's one lesson. The second lesson is anyone listening to this show, if your parents possibly went to a fertility doctor in Indianapolis, and if you're like, I don't want to live in ignorance, you may need to do a DNA test because he might be related to this knucklehead, He's this goofball over here. And for all the fertility doctors listening out there, I know all of you are listening. Do not use your own sperm and do this shit. That's bad. They figured out 40 plus other doctors have done this shit too. Makes me a little concerned about the whole fertility profession. It makes me a little scared. So let's just not do that anymore, okay? Let's just let's cut that shit out. I think that's gonna be a good thing for all of us to do, okay? Here's feeling good all the time, folks. Okay. All right, then I also watched, God forbid, the sex scandal that brought down a dynasty on Hulu. Just getting that all out. First of all, let's just start off. That Jerry Falwell Jr. guy, a numbskull. Jerry Falwell Jr. was a fucking numbskull. So I'll probably go into a little bit more into the bio. I didn't use Wikipedia for this one. But if you watch The Eyes of Tammy Faye, fucking great movie. Jessica Chastain is great. I would buy her underwear. Used underwear, too. She played Tammy Faye, and then Andrew Garfield played her husband. I can't remember what he was, but Vincent D'Onofrio played Jerry Falwell Sr. in that. And if you don't know, the Falwells, if you think about Christianity, evangelical royalty, the Falwells are up there. But he played Jerry Falwell Sr. in that movie, and I'm not gonna lie, Vincent D'Onofrio is the perfect Wilson Fisk Kingpin, and it's gonna be hard. It's hard for me to separate him from the role. He looked different in the first Men in Black movie so much than what he does now. But I'll always have fond memories of Vincent D'Onofrio killing a man by slamming a car door in his head multiple times. Multiple times. So, basically, Jerry Falwell Sr., he started a church. Okay, let's just fucking cough. Let's just fucking cough this entire podcast. So, Jerry Falwell Sr., he was this good man that started a church. I think televangelism, a lot of that shit. I don't know. I don't like the guy. He's a pretty shitty dude too. He was for segregation, and then when they were like, "Oh, we don't like segregation," people were like, "We hate segregation." He's like, "You know what? Maybe segregation isn't that bad." And then the fight went from segregation to abortion, and that's why we're in this mess we are right now. Then he started Liberty University, which is supposed to be it's not like a Christian. It's a Christian school, but it's not like a Bible college, if that makes sense. And let me also bring it up to you. Not a lot of colored people go to that school. It's a very white school. Now you probably know it's a very fucking Republican school, and it's just basically a Republican school. And they have shit in their car, can't drink alcohol. You can't drink alcohol as a student. You can't be having the premarital sex. I'm like, those are the two best things about college. And you're telling kids not to do that shit. I guarantee, because I know some friends who went to Bible college, and they talk about yeah, we broke the drinking rule a lot. So, yeah, that's what Jerry Falwell Sr. is. He created this whole dynasty, this evangelical dynasty, and people love. And they just had a lot of power in the evangelical community. That's just what the Falwells created.
So then we get to Jerry Falwell Jr., who was more of like a businessman. He was never like a Christian pastor type of guy. It was just like a businessman. And he really helped like the school do a lot of business shit. You know, that's all he really did. He's like a real estate guy. That's Jerry Falwell Jr., the numbskull. That's how he kind of started. And so basically, and then he was like not the ruler, president of the school, maybe. I don't know what position he had. Basically, that's who he was. And then he married this woman named Becky. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Becky was pretty hot. And I'm like, yeah, Jerry, for a rich guy, you did really good. Listen, pretty easy. If you're rich, like, you can marry any woman. That's the nice thing about, like, women, you just have to look hot. For men, you just have to have a lot of money. Like, you could just be the fattest fucking piece of shit ever. You should probably lose weight, though, just for your health. Anyways, though, yeah, his wife was pretty hot, but, like, Jerry's kink was he liked watching his wife fuck other dudes, called being a cuckold, which was funny because, like, Republicans and, like, the 4chan alt-left people were calling, like, liberals cucks until, like, this whole story came out. And I haven't heard that since. I haven't heard a lot about that since. So the documentary really like revolves around Giancarlo Granda. I'm just going to call him Giancarlo. I believe that I'm saying that right. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. It's not that I don't know how to say it. It's probably because it's a foreign language. And he was a pool boy for a year. Like, he just worked at, like, some resort as a pool boy for a year. And that's where he met Becky. And then it went to, basically shit escalated from there, into being like, oh, hey. And then Jerry was like, hey, let's buy some properties in Florida and I'll let you run them and shit like that. It's all that shit's going on. Giancarlo said, he's like, yeah, I'm a Republican. And, like, Becky and Jerry were like, we hit the jackpot here. He's Republican and he'll fuck my wife. I'm in. I'm into that shit. But it was weird because Becky was, like, into Giancarlo in, like, a relationship sense. It's not just like, I just like this guy fucking me. It was like, he's my boyfriend. And it's the weirdest. It was very weird shit. But yeah, they found their unicorn, Giancarlo. And people were like, apparently he gets shamed a lot. I'm like, I wouldn't shame him. I'd fuck Becky too. But I feel weird with Jerry in the room. But, like, Jerry had money. And so he's like, yeah, I was doing a lot of money things. Just trying to get a lot of money. And Becky was hot. So I wanted to fuck her. So, he was just doing the unicorn. And this was all before Jerry really got into, like, he was friends with Donald Trump. But this is before Donald Trump was doing, like, just, like, wanted to be president and started saying racist shit. He was always racist and, like, a shitty person. But, like, he's probably easier to be around, and then once Donald Trump, like, decided, like, hey, I'm going to run for president. And, like, Jerry Falwell Jr. is like, hey, I have to give him my endorsement because that gives me a lot of power. Because, like, basically whatever, because it was basically whatever, if Liberty University, backed up whatever Republican president at the time was, that's who basically got the Republican nominee. And that's why a big reason Trump got nominated, because people really associated him with Jesus for some fucking reason. And that's why I don't have Republican friends on Facebook anymore, because I would harass them. Be like, admit to me right now that Donald Trump represents Jesus. Tell me right now. Explain yourself. And they never would. And they unfriended me. And so like that. So he helped get Donald Trump elected. So honestly, with all this Republican bullshit, our Supreme Court, why, Roe v. Wade was overturned, really was Jerry Falwell's fault. Like, if it wasn't for him, Trump wouldn't have been elected. Then put 3 judges on the Supreme Court, and let's be honest with you, two of them were very much not qualified. 2 of them are not qualified. Was it Andrew Gorsuch? I don't agree with him, but I think he's very qualified. And I can't be mad when, like, it's a very qualified person, sit the seat, like Ketanji Brown. I think that's our new one. Like, she's the most qualified. I don't even care about her gender, race, whatever. Like, she's just very qualified, and that's a good thing. Anyways, though, so yeah, basically he helped get Trump elected, and so that's, like, it all spiraled from there. So, like, it's weird to think that it all spiraled from his endorsement. And then Jerry just went off the fucking walls. Like, he was just like, you know what? I know students can't drink on campus, but I can. And so he would fill a water bottle up with, like, it was half tequila, half water. It is weird. I have an uncle, and we were hanging out, and he was drinking. He put mixed water with whiskey, like good whiskey, too. And I was like, that's weird. And you're like, well, you've been drinking since noon. I'm like, all right, I won't blame you. Anyways, I don't know, watering it like just straight liquor down. I don't know, that's weird to me, but Jerry, you do your thing. And like, there's pictures of him with girls on campus too. I'm like, Jerry, I didn't think that. You're not into that. They're not fucking. That's not your wife, Jerry. You don't give a shit about that. But yeah, he just felt like he had so much power because he got Trump elected and shit like that. And he was just do random shit. And then life caught up to him, and Giancarlo really. Jerry was doing him wrong, and so he brought the receipts out, and now everyone found out that Jerry was a cuck, and then they were like, the pool boy's he's fucking the pool boy, the pool boy fuck his wife, and it's like, and I feel bad for the guy because he's like, no, I'm forever labeled as a pool boy. Like, that was a job I had for like a year, like a job he had for a year. And it's like, it's the pool boy. The pool boy. I'm like, he like, doesn't he have his I think he has his master's now. And now everyone's like, oh, so you're the fucking pool boy? I'm like, oh, god damn, dude. Like, could you imagine having just like a shitty job, like he did, like, just to get the money, to move on. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, that's what you are. Like, I've worked customer service jobs. Like, that's the customer service guy. Fuck everyone there, and fuck them. So basically, to sum up, if Jerry Falwell, if he would have just been Jerry Falwell Sr.'s son, and then did his kink and his own thing without trying to bring all the Republican shit into it, and the Christian shit into it, he would have been fine. I think no one would really give a shit. They'd just be like, that guy likes to watch his wife get plowed. I think that's the thing, though. If you're super Christian, you can't be doing that shit, because people will find out, and it's usually the Christians, Like, I'm not into the Christian scene anymore, and my life's open. I'm just admitting, like, yeah, I accidentally winked at an underage girl. I feel bad. I didn't do anything else. I'm sorry, folks. These the Christian Republicans, like I'm telling you, numbskulls to the moon and back.
Have you ever cracked open a cold one with the boys? The vibes are on, then all of a sudden, you are out of cold ones? Though the vibes are still on, the vibes will soon go off because you are out of cold ones. There's no need to drive when you're under the vibes. That's why today's sponsor, Drizly, is here to make sure that the vibes continue. Drizly gets all your favorite beer, seltzer, wine, whiskey, and much more delivered directly to your home. With their easy-to-use mobile app, we are getting one step closer to never leaving our homes. You know it's saying something when it's being praised as the Amazon for liquor. Drizly is my go-to app for getting all the booze I need so I can do other things. So using our link in the description today, you can save $5 off your first purchase through Drizly. Drizly has proprietary ID verification technology that it provides to its retail partners that allows drivers to scan IDs for more than a barcode to make sure the purchaser is over 21 years old in the US and of legal drinking age in Canada. Retailers on Drizly may have a minimum order or delivery fee. So using our link in the description, get $5 off your first order with Drizly. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. You're not a boomer who still goes to what our ancient civilizations called a store. You buy everything on the internet like a modern individual. What if I could tell you that you could be saving more on your purchases by only making a few clicks on your computer? That's where today's sponsor, Honey, will change your life. Honey is a free browser extension you can download using the link in our description of this episode. Honey searches the entire internet for promo code, coupon codes, free shipping, and anything else that will save you money when buying things online. It's 100% free, and at no point will you have to pay for it with all of those many microtransactions. It's as simple as pressing a single button and you can start saving money. Not using Honey is basically throwing money away that could be saved for more important things. I recently had to get business cards for myself, and Honey literally saved me 60% on a pack of 500 business cards. It was amazing. Add the Honey extension to your browser today for free by using the link in our description of this episode. And when you use our links, you directly support this show.
Let's just jump into it.
It's time for Ask Schweezy, folks. It's the time of the episode where I find your questions and I solve them. Because you have problems, I don't have any problems. I've not done anything wrong ever, before and ever, and I never seek counsel from anyone on a podcast. So that makes me better than you.
I identify as a fucking threat.
All right, let's just get into it, or
Let's just jump into it.
When masturbating, do most dudes just come all over the floor or in their beds?
What?
I've been under the impression that dudes just go to the bathroom and ejaculate in the toilet, but apparently, that is not the norm for most dudes.
What?
Okay, let's take a breather here. Okay, we gotta take a. Okay, we breathed so much right now. Okay, okay, so I do want to start off by saying that yes, jizzing in the toilet bowl is the best solution to jizz. I'm just saying, unwanted jizz. Second being your mom's mouth. Ho! But yeah, but I don't know, not everyone, I can't jerk off on the toilet. I think I take too many antidepressants to be able to jerk off on the toilet. I have to be like on my bed to do it. Maybe a chair, or stuff like that. It's just, this is who I am.
This is the type of guy you get.
But, so yeah, I do think like in the toilet bowl is the best, because you shoot in the toilet bowl. It's already a place where you have running water. You press a button and it goes away, so it's perfect down to the last detail. Perfect. For those of you who watch, The Boys. I had a dream. Off topic. I had a dream that The Boys was airing, and I kept forgetting to watch the episodes. I was like, I got a couple episodes to catch up on. I think it's because I'm following a couple of them on Instagram and seeing what's going on. But yeah, and the fun thing is, and I also want to say here is like, how women like shame men for not understanding the female anatomy, and then they're the ones asking questions, or like, do penises float in water? Do men just jerk off on the floor or in their bed? What's going on there? Because things happen. Like, things happen. Okay, so to answer your question, do men come all over the floor? No, unless you're someone who made a specific video that makes me laugh.
Come on, Mark, don't be stingy.
You should not be jizzing on the floor. In fact, it says in the Bible that a man should not spill his seed on the floor. That's a legitimate verse in the Bible. Honestly, if people are like, I believe the Bible literally, I'm like, okay, are you jizzing on the floor? Because if you are, the Bible doesn't like that shit. Okay, you shouldn't be jizzing on the floor. And no one should be jizzing on the floor. Because, you could wipe a booger on the carpet, but, like, if you're a normal human, you vacuum that shit up. But, jizz on the floor, it's like a liquid, right? It'll leave a stain. You don't fucking jizz on the floor. Or on our beds, which, I mean, is better than the floor to jizz in your bed, but also you're sleeping there. It's like eating chips and you're eating food in your bed, which I have done and do continue to do. I'm not saying that, but like, you got to make sure the crumbs get out of the bed. Where do men come? Most of the time, assuming the position, if you're on your back, you jizz on your stomach. Or in around your dick too, or wherever it goes. Hopefully not very far. You want to get it on your body. And then if you're cool, normal, you wipe it down. If you're not, you just leave it there, you go to sleep, and then get all crusty in the morning. But yes, the best thing I can tell you is what most people do, we jizz on our stomachs. and we wipe it down with a paper towel, a Kleenex, toilet paper, whatever is the most convenient for a man. It's the same situation of when a guy comes on your tits. What do? Do you maybe wipe it off with a towel? That's fine, you're gonna wash. Hopefully you wash that towel. But we don't fucking jizz on the floor or in our fucking beds, our Novilla mattresses, 10% off using promo code Schweezy. That's just it's not good. You don't do that. That's bad. That's pretty fucked up.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
So no one do that shit. That's freaking off the table. Do guys like their nipples to be licked/sucked during sex?
What?
Just going with the fucking craziest questions here. First of all, and so I'm going to talk about myself. First, I guess I should say that every man is different. Some men's nipples are more sensitive than the other man. We're all built different. God built us all different. I'm built different, but like y'all aren't built different. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for the most part, what I'm gonna say. See, every man's different, so every man's different. I've heard gay men like suck on your tits and make you play with your titties, make you feel like you're the only man in my life. You're just it.
Man proposes and God disposes.
But my it's actually very, very weird. My nipples actually apparently I'm different. I am built different. You all know that. But what I will say though is that my nipples don't get hard when it's like cold. Not like a sexual thing when it gets cold. I know women's nipples get when they're horny. It's like ping. Or like I got a Costco card. Ping. But yeah, mine don't get hard. Like a lot of my guy friends are like, yeah, my nips get hard. My nips get hard, and it's just like cold out. It's not like a horny thing or whatever. But like I'm like I didn't know the other guy's nipples got hard. I'm like mine don't. It's just like it's just not a thing, But some guys like it. I will say though, fellas, this is for the fellas out there. If you're a little chubby, I'm not one to shame you on that, but I will say that the bisexual women, if you hook up with a bisexual woman, she may grab your titties, and especially if she was with a woman before you, and like a serious relationship with a woman before you, it's just kind of muscle memory. She'll just grab your tits and hold on to them, and it's not like a turn on. You just see it happening, and you just let it slide. Because it's kind of funny. But that's a true thing. But do guys like their nipples, lip, and sack? I'm going to speak for the majority of men here. And I want to say, that we'd rather, like, for men, I really do feel like for the most part with men, like women like to be touched all over. And, like, that's cool. Like, women have more stuff. But for guys, like, all you have to do is touch his dick. Like, it's just hang out on the dick. Don't go to the nipples. We don't care about that shit, Just for the most part. We don't care. We don't give a shit. We do not give a shit.
This is the type of guy you get.
So who's a famous person that you hate, but you have no real reason to hate them? Okay, on the top of my head, I like Meghan Trainor. I fucking hate Meghan Trainor. And, and people are going to be like, you hate her because she's a woman. You hate her because she's not super skinny. None of that's the problem I have with her. I like Lizzo. She's fat. I don't know. I'm not scared to say that on the internet. Lizzo's fat. I'm not scared to say that. She's a really good musician, though. I will say that. She's really good at music. And I really do like her for that. But no, Meghan Trainor, like, she's first of all, like, I don't think she's a bad singer. Like, I don't think she's a bad musician or anything like that. So that's not really the case. It's the music she releases. And typically, if you're an artist, the music you release, and you have to create, like, your persona, and, like, that's your personality around the music you release. And that's just a normal thing I would say that most people do. But yeah, she's, like, I just think her songs are bad. All About That Bass was kind of funny for a minute, but like her songs are bad. I could have my Gucci on, I could wear my Louis Vuitton, but even with nothing on, I made you look like that song's not good. That's not good. It's like this whole like 60s pop vibe, but modern, and the lyrics really don't have no substance. I'm like, oh, I could wear name brand products, but if I was naked, I would still make you look. I'm like, what the fuck is that? She's like, that was clearly in, I want to talk about this, like TikTok songs, like just a lot of record labels and, people, like, they're very much like wanting artists to make songs that'll be like a hit on TikTok and a viral sound and to be used on TikTok because that creates revenue and shit like that. Which I get. I get the idea behind it, and I'm not shaming that idea. But like me as an artist, I would always say, hey, I want to write the song, I want to write a good song, but if it becomes viral on TikTok and you think you have that possibility, I'm totally fine with that. But I don't want to be writing songs just so they can be TikTok trends. I want to write songs that I think are good and you think are good too. And that's my problem with Meghan Trainor. She's just right. Like right now, I bet all her songs are just going to be like TikTok nonsense. And no offense to some people, like, was it Thundercat? That's his name, right? He's like, nobody move, there's blood on the floor. He has that song. That's kicking off, And other artists, have had that too, but I don't think they wrote that with the sole intent of doing that. That's another thing I just really don't like about Meghan Trainor. Other artists, other people I don't like. I wouldn't say I don't like, but there's some people I get like an off vibe from too. Like there's something weird going on. I don't like Mr. Beast. I don't hate him, but I think Mr. Beast, like, something's going on, and I'm just getting the vibes I'm getting off. Like, the read I'm getting from him. Something's going on with him, and it's not good, folks. I do not see it as being very good. So definitely take charge about that. But overall, yeah, no. Meghan Trainor, 100%. I just think she's a bad... I just don't... And I don't think she's a bad thing. Like, her as a musician, I'm like, is fine. But, like, I just think the music she makes is just utter garbage, and I don't see the appeal of it. And when I see someone who's a Meghan Trainor fan, like, that is a red flag, fellas. If she's into Meghan Trainor, don't do it. Like, and can we stop using her song on TikTok? Because I'm tired of hearing that shit, for the most part. That's,
This is the type of guy you get.
So, just,
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
Does it feel funny to sneeze when you have a nose ring? I will say this, though. I have a nose ring, and really, for the most part, I don't feel like it's that noticeable. Like, people don't see me as, like, oh, the guy with the nose ring. They don't see that. They just see me, and, like, they're like, oh, yeah, you do have a nose ring. It's not like, I think the way I wear it, not that noticeable. I thought my mom was going to hate my nose ring when I got it. I showed up, and she didn't say anything, and I was really surprised, but she secretly hates it. Because she told my brother wanted to get his ears pierced, and she had a fucking fit, apparently. And he's not told me the story, and his ears aren't pierced, so I might be doing that for Thanksgiving. We may be piercing his ears. Not me, though. I'm not going to fucking get his ears infected and shit like that. I'm doing that. But does it feel funny when you sneeze and your nose ring? But, like, I would just say when I first got it pierced, because it took, like, it was really, because the actual piercing, it was obviously, like, trauma, but I didn't really have any problem with the pain of it. It was more afterwards when I got it pierced, where, like, there was a little bit of swelling, and, like, you touched it, and it was a little sore too, and they're like, you gotta clean it out with white Dove soap. That's what they told me. There was, like, this white Dove soap. It was, like, this very specific brand of Dove soap, and I was like, okay, and I just used my normal. I'm a skincare man. I don't have no shame in it. Lady's like, I love a man who does skincare. Like, no, you don't. You want a guy who has no. You definitely don't want me. I'm like, you want me? You know how long it takes me to get my hair to look like this? You really want that, man? I'm built different though. Anyways, though, yeah. So yeah, like picking my, like getting your boogers out of your nose. We're all picking our fucking noses. We're not Well, I blow it out and gently toss it into the trash. No, you're fucking not. You gotta dig in there and pick it. That's the only way you get that shit out. And it's okay. And it's okay to do that. The problem is when the problem is when how you dispose of it. Doesn't matter how you get the booger out of your nose. It's about how you dispose of it. Eating that shit, dude. That okay. That is pretty gross. But anyways, though, does it feel sunny to sneeze? No. After I've had this. I got it like 2018. Yeah, that was because it was a chick got me to pierce my nose. So I'm just gonna say that. And no, I just like it. So just like that's how you do things in life. But yeah, no. Nowadays, no. It's only really a problem when like you're trying to pick your nose or whatever, and then sometimes like you get a weird blackhead on it, like in a weird area, and you have to get around it. And if you push on it too much or really sleep on it wrong, it can be a little sore. And then you always get to squeeze it and get a little like pus coming out of it. Pretty cool. But for the most part, like, does it feel funny when you sneeze? Not really. Honestly, I don't really feel it at all unless it's like actually touched or, like I said, I sleep on it wrong and it gets a little sore. Besides that, yeah, it's not really that big of a deal. So if you're thinking about getting your nose pierced, go ahead and do it. You look cool. But like the bars, the one that goes to both nostrils, I just have a little ring on the side for those of you who've never seen my face. But I just have a little one on the side. But the septum piercing, like that's a red flag for some men. So be careful about that. Don't be stingy.
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
Okay. Here's another one. Why are tattoos a sin? Okay, so yeah, no, basically, yeah, I grew up with a lot of it. I don't have any tattoos because I mean, I'm gonna get some, but like I don't have any right now. And I think I'm like trying to get some. The only problem is they cost money and stuff like that. So I have one I actually really do want to get, but I have to find an artist to do it. So if you're an artist, and you want to give me a tattoo, and I'll pay you. I'd prefer to, not to, drain my bank account for some small tattoos every once in a while, like that. So, I grew up Christian, so very much, there were like, some people were like, tattoos are sins. And then once like Christian metal started being a thing, we're like, tattoos aren't a sin. And so like that, there was like this whole debate about it. And like, there's some, I'm pretty sure my mom even still thinks tattoos are sins. And like, there'll be people like she goes to church with, and they have Christian tattoos, and she probably is like, it's still a sin. It's like, well, it's cool that you have it, but I don't. I'm like, okay, mother. But anyways, so the real issue with, I guess, tattoos, and when you don't want to talk about it, like, how are tattoos a sin? I believe I put in my notes, Leviticus 19:28, Old Testament, so all the Jews know me. I was gonna say yay for a second. I'm like, Kanye, ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord. So that's Leviticus 19:28. Basically, if you want to get really into technical details, I believe if you want to go culturally at the time when this verse was written, because that's what the problem with people have. Like, there's a cultural thing and the time period when things were written. And that's the problem with people who really take the Bible literally, is that they don't really think about the time the thing was written. They're like, this should apply to how things are right now. And I'm like, okay, don't be dumb, okay?
That's my hole. That's where it spits.
But yeah, so when you talk about like tattoos, when they were talking about like what they thought were tattoos, back in Leviticus, which, if you believe in Jesus, he took out the old laws, now into the new laws or whatever. It was basically, these tattoos are markings you would put on your body. They were basically for rituals and for markings for like false idols and false gods and stuff like that. It was all for like false like idol worship and shit like that. Which, and I get that to a point where it's like, you're putting this on your skin. There'll be people who put like, get the weirdest fucking tattoo on their bodies and too. I'm like, why did you put that on your body? And then there are people who get face tattoos. Why did you tattoo your face? I am a strict believer. I'm like, I'm never gonna tattoo my face. Mad at me one day, I'm gonna fucking cobra on the side of my face and shit like that. So I think that's generally why people believe tattoo is a sin. But But then you talk about it in modern day, it's more like I want to put artwork on my body and stuff like that. And a lot of people do get like a lot of Christian tattoos and stuff like that, which is cool. I mean, like, you know, do you. And then some people get like, I want to get a tattoo of Reptar from Rugrats. Because my mom didn't like me watching Rugrats as a kid. And that's a whole can of worms that I want to get into that you probably have not gotten into yet. So, you be you, I be me. I want to get the one I am trying to get, I'm trying to find an artist for currently, is for like a stack of pancakes because my dad liked making pancakes, and I was like, oh, it makes me think of my dad. Shit like that. So my mom can hate it and then feel bad for hating it because that makes me laugh and shit like that. But anyways, are tattoos a sin? No, unless you're getting it for rituals and false idol markings. If it's just art and, you know, you're just putting shit on your skin that makes you feel better about how you look, it's not a big deal. So don't be stingy.
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
And you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. If you identify as either a conservative or a progressive, do you literally believe those on the other end of the political spectrum are evil or stupid, even though those on each side number in tens of millions? Okay. I generally fall on, like, because I generally think, and I saw this on election day, and I really do try to go with this. I don't really vote for someone because people voted for Trump like as if like he was a god among men. I don't think about politicians like that. Because people were thinking like, I'm gonna elect my next savior. I'm like, no. Basically, what you're doing is you gotta choose people you're voting for as if you're like getting a bus to a specific location. Whereas like, this doesn't get me where I need to go, but it's going to get me close enough. And you always want to vote on the idea of close enough. Like if I lived in Pennsylvania, I would have voted for John Fetterman. I have no shame in that. I would vote for John because he was funny on the internet. And I realize now that I'm following him on TikTok, and I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be funny anymore because he's not just harassing Dr. Ross. But yeah, so I guess I fall on the left side just because of a lot of policies I believe in. You know, I believe in like gay rights, you know, or the LGBT, you know, everything that. I want women to be able to have control of their body regardless, even though like I'm a man and, you know, I'm talking to people who are like, I think abortion is murder. I'm like, I don't think abortion is murder. I don't, you know, I've seen fetuses. Those things are not human. Those are aliens. They look like aliens. They look like monsters until they become actual babies. Even actual babies, once they're actually born, are like kind of monsters, to be honest with you. It takes a couple months once they get fat. They got to fatten up. Drink that titty milk. They got to fatten up. And I always want to vote against racist policies, and especially because in Missouri they had like a amendment of like should like areas be forced to fund police and stuff like that. I'm like, no, because I don't believe we should be. I mean, there's like someone's having a mental health crisis, like a social worker is going to be better than a guy with a gun who's just trigger happy, you know. So and stuff like that. So when, like, you know, people think about the other sides, you know, and I just say like, you know, the whole LGBT rights I'm very passionate about. You know, I don't think black people should be killed by police officers, and I don't really like police as a white person to begin with, because they really just, you know, they patrol poor people and they really try to steal money from poor people and just do a lot of fucking shit. And also, you know, I grew up Christian, and to be honest with you, Jesus was a socialist. I'm sorry if that offends you as a fucking white alpha male. Beta male. Beta alpha. But Jesus was a socialist, and it's time to fucking grow up and remember that and stuff like that. So, and I think that a lot of times, like, I don't see people as conservatives, progressive, unless they make that their personality and shit like that. But it comes to a point where it's like, I'm not going to argue with you about why you need to be a good person. Like, I'm not going to argue about why you should be a good person. Like, that shit, you know, and call me a liberal all you want, fucking comments, but I'm gonna say it. Like, I'm not gonna argue with you on why you should be a good person. Hey, you don't want kids being shot and murdered in a school, and you want to argue me on that? I'm not gonna argue with you on why you should be a good person. That's not. This show is an hour and a half usually, hour and a half plus. and I talk about nonsense. And the nonsense of having a conversation with you, saying that, arguing with you why you should be a good person, and be like, maybe kids shouldn't be murdered in school. Okay, well, I guess I shouldn't have this bazooka anymore. Like, I'm not going to have that argument with you. We're done. We're done. No more arguing about that with you. All right, last question of the evening. We're going to end it. That was kind of a rant, but I want to end it here. I want to end it with this question. Why do boys, when they get abused by older women, they almost see it as a good experience? When the genders are reversed, girls clearly label it as abuse and the traumatic experience that it is. Okay. So I do want to say, I'm going to start off saying, regardless of in this situation when we talk about regardless of it, it's abuse and it's bad. And I have to say it's bad and stuff like that. Even if like the teen boy and the hot teacher, like he was like that. But the thing is the differences, and I think it talks about like when men get abused versus women. Like I think a woman was like getting a little too handsy with me like a week or so ago, and I'm like, okay. The difference is like, and this goes where like, man, unless it's like small boys, we're not talking about. I'm talking about like, I'm thinking you're talking to this question about how it's like a teenager and like a hot teacher or a hot woman, older woman, you know, and she's like taking these boys' virginity. That's what I'm thinking about what you're talking about. So when if you do it like that, it's like the boys want to have sex and like that stuff like that. You know, this hot older lady wants to have sex with them. And it's like, this is awesome. She's awesome. I can't believe she's doing this. And like, this is awesome. And you learn all these cool things. It's awesome. Well, then, like the reverse, you're like an older man teaching a young girl about it. You're like, ugh. And the thing, and I always do think when I talk about it is like women, you know, men are just, you know, built differently. I know it's a joke, but like usually built taller, stronger, and stuff like that. And they could really just like take advantage of women, and women really have no control of the situation. But when men do it, it's like even like a teenage boy versus like an older lady. Like he could probably if it's a real abuse situation, it's pretty bad. So technically, I would say, you know, it's more consensual, though. You know, it's an underage person. You know, it's consensual with an underage person. So grand assault area there, you know, obviously. So you don't want to be too weird in regards to that. But like, you know, it's like I was 15, this hot like 30-year-old wanted to fuck me. I'm like, I'm down for this shit. Like as a 15-year-old, I'm down for it. Is it ethically right for her? Because it's wrong for her, like, to be, like, trying to do, like, 15-year-olds. It's wrong for her, but, like, when you're 15, you don't know better. And so it's just that different situation. And so, you know, and just, like, even, like, as, like, a 15-year-old boy, you could probably, if she's really getting bad with you, you could probably, like, you'd probably beat the shit out of her and be fine. That's the thing. Like, women don't always have that opportunity. And that's why it's different. Still wrong, but it's different. And, so, regardless, don't do it. It's bad, okay?
Man proposes and God disposes.
And with that all being said, thank you for tuning into this episode of Cancel Schweezy 101. Cancel Schweezy 101. It's been a fun fucking time. Better known as the Lord's trademark favorite podcast. Do not forget playing with Jacob Gapsh in Columbia, Missouri at Rose Music Hall November 23rd. 8 p.m. I want to see people there and having a good time. And my cover of Last Christmas is out now over on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, D's Nuts, Amazon, YouTube. It's out there, all there, everywhere if you listen to music, so you better go check that shit out. Twitch.tv/TheSchweezy. I'm getting ready to start the new Pokemon game whenever I can get my greasy fucking hands on it. Our Patreon page is a great way to financially support us as a tip jar. And the free shit, if you're on our audio-only platforms, make sure you go check out our YouTube page and check out the YouTube page so you can see the highlights, leave us a comment, give us your thoughts, and all that shit. And then if you're on the audio-only platforms, give us a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1-star review. So remember,
Man proposes and God disposes.
honk if you love butt drugs, and stay awesome.
You just finished a full episode of Cancel Schweezy. You are now one of the smartest individuals who will ever exist in our world. If you like that episode, make sure you subscribe. Whether you're watching this show or listening to the show, make sure you subscribe. That way you get notified whenever we release full new episodes as well. And if you're on YouTube, smash that bell button. That way you get notified anytime we make a post over here on YouTube. Honk if you love butt drugs, and yeah, stay awesome.